What's up, guys? Heel Jeff here, and welcome to my Smackdown live review. And let me start off by saying this week Raw was definitely better than Smackdown. Smackdown wasn't bad, but Raw was just the better show. But let's get into Smackdown. Let's talk about it. So the show opens with The Miz and Maurice in the ring. They come down the ramp. The fallout from that segment with him and Bryan on Talking Smack, like last Tuesday after the show went off the air. So the Miz is talking. He's trying to. I like how he's trying to make the Intercontinental title seem more prestigious again, like it was back in the day. And it's good. They need to do that because that used to be like the top title back in the day, and now they make it seem like it's just the mid-carders title. So anyway, he's in the ring. So then Dolph Ziggler comes out, and this obviously means they're setting up a match between them at Backlash in about a week, 2 weeks, for the Intercontinental title. He comes out. Ziggler starts talking. Really good segment. Yeah, and that did end up setting up a match between the two. They announced it on Talking Smack after the show just moments ago. At Backlash, they'll fight for the Intercontinental title. So then the first match of the night was the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, and it was another one of the tag team tournament matches. The Hype Bros won the match. Kind of surprised. I thought the Vaudevillains would win, but I mean, they're really burying the Vaudevillains lately. I mean, they gave them that one little push when they first came into the came up to the main roster a few months back, but they've been really burying them lately, and it seems like they're just going to continue to do that. So the Hype Bros advance in the tournament, and they'll have one more of the tag tournament matches later in the night. So then there was a segment backstage, AJ Styles and Apollo Crews talking, and which, after commercial did come back, AJ Styles came out. He started talking about how he's the face, that runs the place, and all that. So then Apollo Crews comes out and he says Daniel Bryan, he asked for a match, and Daniel Bryan gave him the match, so they're gonna have a match. AJ Styles won the match. Decent match. Nothing really important there. Let's see. And then there was a funny segment when Renee Young goes to Heath Slater's house for an interview, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't really his house, but he's got Rhino was there, and his wife, which I don't think was his real wife either. But it was a pretty funny segment. Yeah. So then after that, Bray Wyatt, he comes out, starts talking about Randy Orton. So then of course Randy Orton comes out. They go back and forth. And eventually Randy goes into the ring, and then as soon as he gets into the ring, lights go out, and they go to commercial. Preview a few matches, go to commercial. But they did end the segment. In the segment they did announce there'd be a match between them at Backlash. No surprise, we saw that coming last week. So then we had women's tag match. Alexa Bliss and Natalya taking on Naomi and Becky Lynch. During the match, Nikki Bella was on commentary. Carmella comes through the crowd, attacks her. They start going at ringside. I forget who even won the match. I don't even know. I think it was like DQ, because then they all started going at it. They're having that six-pack challenge match at Backlash for the new SmackDown Women's title. Yeah, but they all started going at it. So then the Headbangers return, and they got like zero reaction from the crowd. I have no clue why they brought them back, but they would take on Heath Slater and Rhino. This was one of the tag team tournament matches as well. Heath Slater and Rhino win the match, so it looks like for the Headbangers, they're gone. They just brought them back for one show, which, I don't know, I guess it makes sense. Doesn't really, though. But they bring them back. Heath Slater and Rhino win the match, so they move on. they'll take on the Hype Bros. I'm guessing next week. Yeah, both these matches will be next week. The Hype Bros and the Usos will take on American Alpha, and then the 2 winners of that match will verse at Backlash for the new SmackDown Tag Team titles. Then they went to commercial and came back, and then there was this guy standing in the ring. I mean, nobody knew who he was. I forget, what did he say his name was? I forget. But he's just standing in the ring, and then he says, he's out here. He says, nobody in the back wants to face him. I have no idea what's going on. I was so confused. So then Kane comes out, walks into the ring, choke slams him. I have no idea what that segment was for. It was really pointless. But yeah, I guess it was just to kill time, quick squash match or whatever. Because, the main event was Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles on commentary for the match. Obviously, they're versing at Backlash for the WWE title, World title, whatever it's called. So many names lately. Yeah, it was still a pretty long match, even with the quick squash match before it. It was still about like 15-minute match. Pretty good match too. Eventually, AJ Styles obviously ends up getting involved in the match. He goes to kick Dean Ambrose, but he accidentally kicks Baron Corbin. And then, Corbin's not too happy. So then another point in the match where Ambrose is getting beaten up by Corbin over in the corner. And AJ Styles gets up and goes over and says, keep damaging him. And then him and Corbin are, face to face. That was before AJ Styles got involved, really. But they start going, and that caused Ambrose a time, and then eventually the match just ended. They're all going at it. And then the show ended with Ambrose in the ring. He hit Corbin with the Dirty Deeds. And then Styles goes up to the top and goes for the phenomenal forearm. And Ambrose counters it, and Styles lands right between the ropes. That was pretty funny there. He was like standing there, like hanging on the ropes for like a minute there at the end. But yeah, that was it. Like I said before, though, Raw definitely the better show this week. SmackDown wasn't bad though. I mean, every week they're decent shows, but there's always one better show. I really don't know if we're gonna get a week where it's like a really good episode of Raw and SmackDown. But like SmackDown wasn't bad. I don't feel like they have enough build for the Dean Ambrose AJ Styles match. I feel like they're kind of rushing it here. I mean, there's only one more week left till Backlash. There's not enough build though. I don't feel like behind the feud here. Like they just found out they were going to go up against each other last week, and they had like a small thing at the end of the show. But that's, unless something happens next week. But I just don't see enough build. I thought the same thing about when they had the Ziggler feud with Ambrose for SummerSlam. I just didn't see really any build. I mean, there was some build, but it just didn't feel like enough for the match. Yeah. So yeah, there's one more episode left next week. Backlash is September 11th. Sure, there's probably like a match or two still to be announced for the show, but that's mainly it. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter at Jeff Tuffner. I tweet during Raw, SmackDown pay-per-views and all that. Yeah, I'll see you Monday for Raw.